Whoops, I think I'm on. Welcome to Zen Fits. I was fixing up my wire. Okay, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. This is broadcasting from Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world, but then you too are at the center of the world. The title of this talk is The Crown, this Netflix series, and Zen. And for me, Zen means insight, seeing, connecting dots, seeing the whole picture, seeing through, going through appearances to a greater understanding, a bigger picture, and awakening. So The Crown, we just finished the last episode last night on the fourth year, and which include Thatcher and Diana and the torture of the crown. So it seems like the crown. Well, let me explain what the Crown is. A magnificent epic of not only British history but world history at the time, historically, through the lens of the life of Queen Elizabeth from the beginning to now. I mean, she's still in her 90s. She's still the Queen. So this is a beautiful historical epic of one lifetime, and seeing our history that we're all living in through that prism. And the prism is the crown. And the opening logo is wonderful, where it takes zooms in on the crown so that you're just seeing the different forms of gold that if you zoom out, you would see, oh, it's the crown. But when you zoom in, you see the crown disappears, and you just see the forms and facets of gold melting and forming. You don't know, it isn't anything. It's just like abstract painting or watching reflections in a pond, that breaks up. So you go, boo, when you see different facets, you see. So the crown, that opening logo right there, is that it's about the crown, a specific historical fact, the royalty of England, the crown in all of its magnificence and historical drama and richness of the monarch, the everlasting, immutable monarch, you see. And then also it's historical, it's peopled by people, and yet this historical drama is basically about us. So what is it about us, about you, about me, that the crown speaks to? That's why we love these movies and epics, you see, because they're always about us. And the more they are metaphorically pointing to you and me, the more we love it, but we don't know why. You see. So we love it, but we don't know exactly. We come up with, oh, well, I like this, I like the pageantry, I like the story, I like this or I like that. You see, all these will be the different facets of the diamond, but we don't see the whole diamond. You never see the whole diamond. You just see facets of it. You just see reflections of it, you see. So the crown is like that in the sense that it reflects different parts of us. So the one thing I wanted to point to that I particularly see in the crown, that it is a contradiction. There is a basic contradiction that is unfolding in this history, this historical drama, peopled by real people, yet framed in a story, you see, that reflects the contradiction in our own life. And the contradiction is the conflict between duty and nature. Which is brought about in, of course, the duty of the crown. In other words, if you're born into this family, you are bound by the duty to the king or queen and the nation. Duty subverts individual will or desires or nature. So this conflict between my unique individual desires and nature versus the obedience or the need to belong and be obedient to, or my duty, you see. Duty versus nature. It seems to be the initial contradiction that is working its way out through this history. Everyone solving it in their own way. Every member of the royal family solves it in their own way. Prince Charles, Diana, Queen Anne, Margaret, Elizabeth, her husband, what's his name? See, don't even know his name. But all the characters in The Crown, you see, are working out this conflict in their own way. And the conflict was really brought together dramatically with the story of Diana, and of course her husband Charles, his conflict, and then Elizabeth's resolution of the conflict by subverting her nature and choosing duty. So anyway, this is our conflict. You see, we're all in conflict with this. We're all working with this contradiction between what I should do and what I want to do. I want to be unique. I want to be special. I must be unique. I must be special. Yet I must belong to a family, a group, an organization, to something bigger than me. So there must be duty to that. Must be duty and obedience to something larger, whether it's your political party or your religion or your local club or your gang or your family, or whatever this thing, this bigger order is. There's a moral duty to it, and yet I must be unique. And to be unique, I must be rebellious, you see. This is the conflict in Christianity between Jesus and the devil, you see. Obedient to Jesus, the church, the religion, or be sent, follow my own, be rebellious and be a secret smoker, watch porn, do something, be rebellious. The adolescent rebellion, he must rebel. And it begins right there. See, with childhood, with adolescence, the conflict of the crown blooms. I must obey the parent, the king, the queen, the monarchy, but I must be me. I must be unique. And these are incompatible commandments, yet both must be obeyed. Both must be manifested, but they can't because they're incompatible. How can I be a rebel how can I be a rebel son and a good son? How can I be a rebel daughter and a good daughter at the same time? How can I be me and not be me? You see, because if I'm obedient to a higher order, to a parent, to a government, to a party, whatever, I must subvert my individual will to that will, to the will of the group, to the whole, you see. So I must submit to that. I must give up my individual will. Yet I cannot give up my individual will, my unique will, you see, my unique me, that they're incompatible. How do I be a rebel and be obedient both at the same time? Well, we all come up with strategies to do this because we must. So we all come up with ways, a strategy that is like the Hegelian dialectic, the thesis and the antithesis. Bum, bum, bum. They're incompatible, but each is born out of the other, like the ends of a teeter-totter. You got the teeter-totter, up, down, in, up, down, up. Tweedledum, tweedledee. Thesis creates antithesis. And this is conflict, rubbing together. Distress, anger, frustration. Where is the original unity, you see? You got the original unity, thesis, antithesis, rubbing together for what? What do they want? What do these two ends want? They want the original unity. So how do they find? They must find it. Well, they must. How do I get me, and how do I become obedient, belong to something, and be me at the same time? They're incompatible. So I create a new whole. I create a synthesis in which I can be both me. I can have my cake, and I can eat it too, in this new whole. You see. So this new whole is an idea. It is a created idea in which these two incompatible forces, me and the whole, the spoke and the wheel, the part and the organism, you see, all of these, this conflict between the particular and the universal, the singular and the many, the one and, the unique object and the many, the one marble that stands out in all the marbles, you see, this conflict, you see, is resolved when we create a synthesis. And that is an idea that suddenly blooms upon us. Suddenly, I know what to do. And we feel healed. So in religions, that's coming to Jesus. Come to Jesus, you see, suddenly the conflict is over. Suddenly the war is over. Suddenly, I'm at home in a new idea, you see. But unfortunately, if that new idea is a form in time, in history, it's going to be in conflict with other unique ideas that say, I'm the one. So now you have a religious war where one religion says, I'm the one, and the other one says, no, I'm the one. That is two. No, I'm the one, but now you have two. You see? So it starts out with, I'm two, how can I become one? There's a creative idea, boom. I am now one by belonging to this unique group or political party or religion or whatever. I'm one because I belong to that, you see. I'm obedient to that. But the group I belong to is the rebel, you see. So now I'm both a rebel and I belong because I've created an idea in which both are manifested at the same time. The group I belong to is rebellious and not obedient to other groups. I'm obedient, so I'm a rebel by belonging to the group, but I'm also obedient by belonging to the group, you see. In that way, I temporarily heal this incompatible contradiction that is at the source of our suffering, said Buddha. This contradiction is the source of our suffering, said Buddha. This separation, this desire to be something, this desire to be the one that has no second, you see. So if I belong to a religion that is the one that has no second, or a political party that's the one that has no second, I temporarily heal the conflict, but it's still there because now I'm in conflict with other groups or with that which I'm rebelling against, you see. The rebellion continues. The resistance continues, you see. History continues. The crown of thorns continues, you see. So is that the metaphor, the deeper meaning of the crown? This crown of thorns that we believe is gold, that gives us everything we want, and yet when we put it on, it just cuts into our head and we can't take it off and we can't keep it on. We're stuck in this eternal suffering, you see. So that, there's a lot of metaphorical ways to look at the crown, and it's the ego, the crown of the ego. We put this thing on because we must be something. We must be special. So I put this crown on, and it is a crown of thorns. How ironic. We can't take it off, and we can't keep it on. Boom. Brer Rabbit in the Tar Baby. Thanks for dropping in. Happy Thanksgiving.